So problem number 3 you might be looking at and think, hey, look, there's a root symbol there. When I see a root, I know that means to multiply by the conjugate to simplify this. But the problem is this is a fifth root, not a square root. So when you multiply a fifth root by a fifth root, it does not cancel like a square root would. So we're not going to use that method here. Instead, we need to recognize that this is actually the limit definition of the derivative. So this is one of those problems that are actually in the form limit as delta x approaches 0 of f of x plus delta x minus f of x all over delta x. And so we need to identify the function f of x, which in this case is the fifth root of x. Notice that this part right here is our function, the fifth root of x, but it has a delta x plus, actually I wanted to write this as not f of x plus delta x, but typically we've been writing that as c, f of c plus delta x minus f of c, like that, because this is actually the definition of the derivative at a specific point. So f of x is the fifth root of x, but notice we have that c value of 32 plugged in, so we know c is 32. Again, it's always going to be whatever is right there with the delta x term inside your function. Notice this 2 right there, that is actually f of 32, which is the fifth root of 32, which is in fact 2. And so we need to take the derivative of this function, and to do that, I'm going to rewrite this as x to the 1/5 power, because now I can use the power rule to say f prime of x equals 1/5. Remember, that's what you do. You multiply by the power, 1/5 times x, and then you subtract 1 from the power, so 1/5 minus 1 is negative 4/5. And so I'm going to rewrite this as f prime of x equals 1 over 5 times x to the 4/5. And now we want to plug in our c value of 32. We want f prime of 32. So we get 1 over 5 times 32 to the power of 4/5. And you might be thinking, well, how can I do that in my head without a calculator? Well, we just said that the fifth root of 32 was 2. Think about counting powers of 2 on your finger again. 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. Yes, I just put all 5 of my fingers up. So we know the fifth root of 32 is 2. So this will simplify to 1 over 5 times 2 to the power of 4. And we know that 2 to the power of 4 is 16. 2, 4, 8, 16. Did it again, but had 4 fingers up that time. So I have 1 over 5 times 16. And you might be like, oh, but I can't do that either. And so then you can say that 16 is the same as 2 times 8. And then it's easy to see that 5 times 2 is 10, and 10 times 8 is 80. So this is 1 over 80.